Hi, I'm Danny with BuyRadarDetectors.com. In this video, we're going to unbox the Escort Passport Max. This high-end radar detector from Escort has a multicolored graphic OLED display, great performance, and GPS-enabled features such as a preloaded Defender database of speed and red light camera locations, and the ability to block false alerts based on your location. Let's open the box and take a look. Alright, let's get started. Like I said, we're looking at the Escort Passport Max. I'm going to, in this video, basically open the box. I'm going to go through the accessories that are included in the box, and then we're going to take out the radar detector. I'm going to turn it on, let you see the display, and I'll briefly take you through the menu options and briefly describe what some of the features are. So let's get started. Got our Escort Passport Max here. Pretty nice looking box. Let's see. We have our brief getting started guide. Not a full manual. If you want a full manual for this, you're going to have to go online and get it. Escort stopped providing full manuals with their products. You see everything here is already packaged inside of this, I'm going to say nylon travel case. Let's close this back down. It's a decent case. I kind of prefer some of the hard cases that Escort used to provide, but this definitely gets the job done if you're looking for a way to, kind of tuck your detector away under the seat. You see we have a couple of pockets in here. There's a Velcro divider. And first thing we'll pull out is our Super Cup windshield mount. And let's get everything out here. And then we'll go through each one. This is going to be our smart cord power cord and the actual Escort Max radar detector. Looking at some of the accessories, starting with the Super Cup here. The way this works is actually a much better setup than the old windshield mounts that just had two suction cups. This is one powerful suction cup. Place it on the windshield and click this up to lock it into place. You can use this adjustable knob to change the level or the degree that your radar detector is set for, and that helps you adjust because every car has a different windshield angle. So you just want to make sure when you have this thing mounted in your vehicle that it's flat. You want a straight radar detector. You don't want it pointed up or down in any way at all. You want it to be completely level. And what you're going to do to mount this is this bracket here is going to slide into this part of the radar detector. Be careful too when you're removing your detector from the bracket. Use the release button instead of just pulling it off, because you can break some latches inside there. The smart cord power cord. I love these power cords. Uses a RJ11 telephone type connector on the end. If you've seen a Bell or an Escort radar detector in the past, you're probably used to that. Plugs into this connector on the side of the Escort Max. And the great thing about the smart cord is that you have two LEDs right here on the front. The one on the right is the on light. Anytime the radar detector is powered up, that light will be on. You also have an alert light. The alert light will only activate when you're receiving an alert. So if the detector is going off on K-band, for example, you'll have a flashing light right here. This is great because when you're driving at night, you can put the detector into complete dark mode and turn off the display, and you'll still be able to get a visual indicator when you're getting an alert, but maybe other drivers wouldn't notice that you have a radar detector. Best part of the smart cord is this mute button. The mute button, you can mute the detector just by pressing this button. If you have a really steep windshield, it may be a reach to get up and press the quiet button on the detector. I mean, the mute button is right here, but it may be quite a stretch based on your windshield. So if your power connector is closer, you can use this mute button and it'll save you a little trouble. I'm going to plug this in and power up the Escort Max in just a moment. Let's take a quick look at the detector before I power it up. On its side here we have the power connection. Like I said, this is an RJ11 type connector. It makes it to where the power cord doesn't pull out just any time. It actually clicks into place, just like a computer cable or a telephone. This is a USB port. This radar detector is equipped with a GPS chip and what Escort calls their Defender database of red light speed camera locations. Well, you need to keep this up to date by plugging it into your computer from time to time to keep that database up to date, because they're always adding red light cameras and speed cameras, or they're moving them from place to place. So if you've got a year-old database, then it could be bad. You could miss an alert and that could end up giving you a ticket. I don't have anything on this side. Bottom. On the top we have our power buttons. We have a mark location button. Mark location allows you to set an alert at a specific place. So if you're driving by a red light camera that's not in the database, you can press the mark button and add it to your own database on this detector, so that every time you go by that location in the future, you get an alert. There's also the sensitivity button, which allows you to change it from highway to auto mode or to auto no X. BRT here allows you to change the brightness level on the display. Of course, you have the mute button and the volume buttons. Let's power this up and take a look at the nice display. The display is what really draws people to this radar detector, I think, more than a lot of other things, because it's a really unique design and it's different, at least for Escort. Yeah, right away from the screen you can tell this probably doesn't look like most of the other radar detectors you've seen before. It's a full graphical display. There's a lot that they can do with this display, and it's really easy to read and presents a lot of information. Just so that I'm sure this shows up well on the video, I'm going to use the brightness button here and increase the brightness.
Medium. Maximum.
You can also hear that basically everything with this detector is voice prompted. When you go through the menu, it's full voice driven. Right now we see auto. That means it's in auto sensitivity mode. If I press the sensitivity button on top, I can go to auto no X, which is the same as auto mode, but X band is completely disabled.
Highway.
Or highway, where highway mode is basically full strength, full sensitivity. Of course, full sensitivity is also going to give you the most false alerts, because a lot of the built-in filtering is disabled in this mode.
Auto.
What I'm going to do is basically run through the menu settings so everyone can get an idea of what the menu options are, and then after that I'll kind of explain a few of them. I don't think that I have time to explain it as I go through the menu, because the menu timeout is very quick. So anyway, to get into the menu or the preferences, you have to press the mark and sensitivity buttons at the same time. Sort of a guide on top for that. Pref with dots above these two buttons is a sort of a reminder if you ever need to get in here. But holding both of those in will take me into preferences, and then the mark button scrolls through options. You have user mode, display color. Pressing volume changes from one option to the other. As you can see on this one, you have different options for the color of the screen.
Display on. Cruise alert. Overspeed. Meter option standard.
This is the way that
Spec.
the alert is presented on the screen.
Expert.
Standard, spec,
Simple.
expert, and simple. I'll go through a few of those options in a moment.
Standard. Tone standard. Auto mute on. Auto learn on. Units English. Voice on. GPS filter on. Auto power 4 hours.
And under auto power, we have options for off, 1, 2, 4, and 8.
4 hours. Band enable default settings.
The band enabled option allows you to specifically choose which bands you want to turn on and off. And like I said, I'm out of the menu now because of the quick timeout.
Preferences. User mode. A display keeps cruise all over speed meter tone standard. Auto mute. Auto learn units. E-voice on. GPS. Auto power. Band enable default settings.
For this feature, you have to press
X
sensitivity
band on.
to actually get into
Marker enable
the
default
list.
settings.
Same thing with marker enable.
Deleted. Auto no X. Highway. Auto.
Oops, I've accidentally gone out again.
Preferences. User mode. Advanced. Display color. Display. Cruise alert. Overspeed. Meter option. Tone stand. Auto mute. Auto learn. All units. Sync. Voice on. GPS fill. Auto power. Band enable. Default settings. X band on. K band on. KA band on. Pop detection off. Laser on.
These are the options for that
DSR
band
on.
enable option.
X band on. Marker enable default settings.
This works similar to the last
on.
setting.
Red light camera on. Red light and speed camera on. Speed camera on. Speed trap on. Other on. Red light camera on. Clear locations marked. Logouts. Defender.
This setting allows you to just clear out
Marked.
locations that
User
you've
mode.
stored in a memory. And that takes us through the menu. I'll go
Completed.
through a few of the options and what they mean. The first option for user mode, there's an advanced and novice option. And advanced is what we saw. Novice basically eliminates a few of the options that most users aren't going to care about. So going to novice mode, you eliminate some of the options that most people aren't going to need. The display color, you saw that you have 4 options: blue, green, red, and amber. Speed display, using the GPS chip that's inside this detector, it knows how fast you're going all the time. And with speed display on, it'll show your speed in this box right here. Now, we're recording this indoors, so it's not able to see any of the GPS satellites, so we don't have a speed, and plus we're not moving. But normally in your vehicle with speed mode on, speed display on, you're going to see your speed right here. There's also cruise alert. By default, cruise alert is set to 20 miles an hour. And what that means is when you're going below the speed that cruise alert is set to, it's going to change the alerts that you hear. Instead of the blaring loud alerts that you normally get, you're going to get softer alerts. So if you're sitting in a drive-through and there's a automatic door across the way, you don't have to be as annoyed by the constant alerts. It's going to soften that somewhat. The overspeed option by default is set to 70 miles per hour. And we see here that is on, and 70 mile per hour OSP, overspeed, is indicated on the display. That means when you're going over 70 miles an hour, the display is going to indicate that you're going faster than your overspeed alert is set for. If you have the Escort Max here connected to an Escort Live, which allows you to connect it to a smartphone, then oftentimes this detector is going to know the speed limit for the road you're currently driving on. And if that's the case, it will show your current speed limit right here, sort of overriding the overspeed alert option. There's also the meter mode, where we had options for standard, spec, expert, and simple. In the spec display mode, you're going to see options for you're going to see the actual frequency that's being detected on the display. When you get an alert, let's say you get a K-band alert, this auto is going to go away, you're going to see the letter K, you're going to have a signal strength meter. On the spec mode, the actual frequency will be shown above the meter. In expert mode, you'll be able to see on the display up to 4 alerts at the same time. And in simple mode, you're just going to get simple messages like caution or slow down at certain places, instead of the standard bar graph signal strength like I mentioned. The tones option, you have standard tones. When you get an alert, you're going to hear a beeping sound. If you switch from standard to mild tones, those won't be as loud, won't be as annoying. Now, if you're speeding, you probably want this thing to get your attention, so I like the standard tones. Auto mute mutes the detector after a couple of beeps instead of constantly playing the alerts at the loud volume. Auto learn. Auto learn is a great feature of this detector. It's enabled by the GPS support. What it means is if you drive by the same signal multiple times, let's say you're driving by a grocery store and the automatic doors on that grocery store present a false alert. With auto learn on, after you've driven past that location and it's gotten that frequency several times, it's going to learn that this is a false alert and automatically lock it out. That'll happen without you doing anything. This also has the option for you to create your own alert by pressing the mute button on the smart cord 3 times. So if you go by a place and you want to mark a location, you can press the mute button 3 times and place that location in your detector. There's the units prompt, which allows you to switch between English and metric. The voice option turns the voice prompts and all the English voice off. GPS filter turns the GPS functionality on or off. Of course, we saw auto power. You can probably figure out that shuts the detector off after a certain amount of time. 4 hours is the default. The band enables feature that we went through allows you to turn on and off any specific band that you want. XK, KA, KA pop, laser, and TSR, which are traffic sensors. The marker enable feature allows you to turn customize locations on and off of certain types. And we looked at a clear locations option, and that lets you clear out any locations that you've put in yourself, or you can clear out the Defender database or any lockouts that you have, or you can also erase everything. That takes us through the menu, takes us through what's in the box. I believe that concludes our unboxing. This has been an unboxing of the Passport Max from Escort. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to give us a call, email us, or enter our live chat at BuyRadarDetectors.com. If you like this video and want to see others like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/BuyRadarDetectors. I'm Danny, and thanks for watching.